Okay, a very good day to you all. Okay, for today we're going to continue our discussion on surface mining. So I previously discussed about open pit. Now I'm going to continue with another open or surface mining type of surface mining, which is what we call open cast. Some literature or some books would like to use strip mining, so those are the same thing that we would like to discuss in these particular topics. So it's still basically surface mining. Okay, surface mining, when we talk about surface mining, we know that the ore is actually near to the surface, and for this particular method, uh, we would like to have a deposit that are mostly flat deposits. Okay, and the overburden that we remove will be used to backfill the work area. So somehow you are working on extracting the minerals from the ground, but also you would like to fill back again the area that you have already mined. In that way, you somehow actually doing filling up back again all the things that you already take out. So, but the disturbance ataupun secara umumnya permukaan tanah tersebut akan menjadi sedikit berubah, tetapi tidak meninggalkan sesuatu lubang yang besar berbanding dengan kaedah open pit. Okay, so this time you still have to remove the overburden, but that overburden will be placed to one side. I'm going to show that later on in more apa tu gambar yang lebih jelas untuk you lihat. So jadi they move to the side, and then when you expose the mineral, you take it out. So as you move along, that overburden that you remove will be filled back again to the area that you already take out. So when the remove, when any deposit is extend beyond the break-even depth, so then they won't go with surface mining method. They have to go with underground or other types of method. So still the break-even must be there as well. So you know that further discussion on this particular topic, we're going to discuss also a few calculation that you need to do, like stripping ratio and also the cut-off grade, which is the two calculation that is important for you to determine whether you can proceed with open pit or underground. So those are the issues that you need to determine first before you can proceed. So for this open cast, you are usually meant for, you can see that this open cast is mainly used for coal. But there are also other types of open cast that we might use this method, like for example, clay. Like in somewhere in Perak, they do this open cast type to just remove the top burden of that particular clay, like vegetation and so on. They remove that, and then they can now expose the clay for the excavation of that clay. So that, I mean, this method are actually similar to open pit, but the overburden are not transported to the waste dump. Okay, but the overburden is directly put to the adjacent mine out area. So you can see that later on in figures that you can see clearly. So mostly they are used for near surface. Okay, remember that. Literally continuous bedded deposit such as coal, stratified ore such as iron ore, and superficial deposit like nickel laterite bauxite. So you can see that the most example that we can see in Malaysia, except for coal, iron ore, we do open cast mining. Laterite bauxite, we use the same method, which is open cast. It means you remove some vegetation on top, you dig out the minerals or the bauxite or iron ore, and then but the issue now in Malaysia, but they didn't fill up back again with the topsoil. They leave that area to be like barren. So that's the issue. So when that thing happen, so they start to create problem in terms of holes and everything. So by right, it's an open strip. This is strip mining, but you don't fill up back again with the topsoil, because your topsoil there is not that big amount, tak banyak pun you nak isi balik. So dia akan memberi kesan terhadap permukaan. Dan isu yang lain juga, dia menyebabkan kawasan tersebut menjadi tidak subur lagi, sebab all the topsoil, all the overburden have been removed and not being replaced accordingly. So when the ore body of the flat lying close to the surface, is sometimes economical to remove the overlying rocks, expose the ore body. So you hanya mengeluarkan sebahagian thickness of the ore body, then you already exposed. So that's why the near surface and bedded deposit, okay, they are flat deposit, bedded deposit, then they are suitable to use this particular method. And material centering consists of excavation and haulage. That means you excavate, haulage, or you cast it out. Okay, generally one unit operation and performed by a single machine, but they use huge machine, especially when we talk about coal. I mean, I can show you later on in the figures that they use huge machine. And sometimes overburden is loaded into conveyors and then deposited to the mine out area. So they can use, they can maneuver also conveyors to use to transport the overburden. Highest productivity and lowest cost mining method, because you don't have any overburden work to be done and being transported to another dump area. So they are being used within the area that they work. Okay, the working area is within the area that you mine. Okay, so they have to be large, because the deposit is quite important in determining the level of minings that you want to use. So the mining activity is concentrated and relatively in small area, and that reclamation can immediately follow the mining. So that means you will do the necessary reclamation. And the key productivity of open cast mining is in the output of the stripping excavators by utilizing large machine in the world. So that means they use huge machine because you want to get the capacity. Casting overburden requires boom type. I mean, they call it a big type. That means so that you can get your casting being done accordingly. Alright, strip mining is the practice of mining of a seam. Okay, when we talk about seam, it's a one layer minerals by first removing a long strip overlying of soil and rock. That means they remove on the top layer, expose the minerals, and then they excavate the minerals, and then they fill up back again from the back. Okay, that will be discussed when you see that how this method being utilized later on in my next figure. So but basically there are two forms of strip minings: area mining or area stripping, and you can also contour stripping. So these two things have to be differentiated. Okay, area stripping, which the area, that means they have a flat surface area, okay, fairly flat terrain, to extract deposit over large area. So they are area, that means the whole area. So whereas contour stripping, they are using high wall at the hillside. You have a hill at the side there. There is a figure that I'm going to show later on of these two forms of strip minings. Okay, this is the things that I discussed earlier. Okay, you can see that from this you have exposed coal that you already being exposed. So these are being shoveled out. So but you can see that when the drag line here, okay, they are doing the overburden removal. So this drag line with this bucket here, okay, so they excavate there and then being put to the new bank of spoil on the here. So this thing being dumped here, and then they move along. They move along, and of course the drilling and blasting to loosen the overburden have to be done accordingly. Okay, so then drag line will take the place. Okay, so if you can see that, I mean, that's how this is the drag line. Okay, the drag line is over here, so they start to remove. Okay, so they start to remove from there. Okay, new high wall, and then this is a loading shovel, so they start to dig out. So, and then the spoils that may being removed to the side accordingly. Okay, so this is a plan view of this particular method. Okay, this is some of the figure as well. Okay, so they have this blasting, drilling and blasting will be done at the back there. So, and then when this thing being loosened, so they start to drag out using drag line and so on. Okay, you can see that the features over here, they are only one layers compared to open pit that they have multiple benches. This only one or two layers of benches, or not we call benches, just a strip. Okay, that this excavator will go on. This is what I said, that they're having a conveyor belt. You do your stripping here. Okay, this is overburden. Okay, overburden there, and then they start removing over there. Okay, so you can see that this also being done. So you are removing and you are exposing now the the ore here. Okay, so that having that particular excavation happening at the ore there. All right, so this is one of the things that I mentioned just now, is which is a contour. Okay, the one is area stripping that I showed a few previously. This is high wall. Contour stripping. They are at the hillside. Okay, at the hillside they cut and then they expose, and then you got your seam accordingly from the side, and they are having a contour rather than flat. So the sequence of development of open cast mining. So the activities development of open cast mining. So after clearing the top layer, which is the land, the vegetation, and so on, a central location of a plant ensure the minimum haul of distance and so on. Okay, so there you're removing all the area, the clearing the land. And because the importance of reclamation of the open cast method, special attention should be given the location of maintenance of topsoil stockpiles. Okay, that have to be clearly done as well. So selection and acquiring of equipment is needed. Okay, so you nampak sequence there. First, you remove the top layer, which is all the vegetation, surface plant, and being removed. And then selepas itu you dah remove dan sebagainya, you kena locate di mana you nak letak you punya plant. Okay, janganlah you letak plant you dekat area yang you nak excavate, which is problem lah. And then you kena set juga location of surface transportation, highway, rail or water yang you melibatkan perlombongan yang bakal dilakukan. That means you kena make sure also, macam juga dalam open pit, you kena ada drainage dia, you kena ada di mana you nak dump dia punya ore, di mana you nak cast you punya overburden dan sebagainya. Okay, because of the importance of reclamation, the open cast method, you kena make sure that all the topsoil being located accordingly. So selection and acquiring of equipment needed, so you kena tahu apa equipment yang you nak guna pakai berdasarkan kepada kapasiti dan juga kesesuaian untuk you guna pada open cast tersebut. The first cut or drop cut, some haulage overburden is inevitable. So that means you kadang-kadang tak boleh nak elak perkara untuk overburden haulage ni. Okay, kadang-kadang you kena remove juga sedikit untuk memastikan bahawa ianya dapat dilakukan secara open cast secara berterusan later on. Okay, so strip mining ideally applied to ini is just some additional notes that you saya letak di sini supaya you dapat baca dengan lebih detail. So it's actually repetitive types of notes that you boleh guna untuk baca. That means macam dia kata is a very low cost, high productive, itu pun saya dah sebut tadi sebelum ni, dan menggunakan kaedah-kaedah yang ditetapkan. Okay, ini beberapa figures yang saya nak tunjuk bagaimana dapat dilakukan strip mining tersebut. Okay, you nampak ada coal seam di situ yang warna kelabu tu. Okay, so warna kelabu tersebut, dan juga ada high wall yang mana all the drag line is doing the overburden removal while the excavators and also lorries being used accordingly. Okay, so then dia remove ke sebelah kanan saja. Dan begini remove di sini. So that mean the topsoil being removed, spoil bank, dan this is the reclaim area yang dah dilakukan perlombongan sebelum ini. So dia remove to the left. Okay, untuk contohnya di sini ya, dia remove to the left. Okay, ni original ground, so dia akan pergi ke sebelah sana dan waste diasingkan ke sebelah kanan dan seterusnya. Ini adalah step by step. Yang pertama dia drilling. Okay, di sini ya, bahagian ini dia adalah drilling. Okay, dia ada berlaku di situ, dan keduanya adalah untuk mengubah broken ore, okay, and removal of broken rock yang bahagian yang nombor 3, dan seterusnya 4 dan 5 iaitu extraction of upper seam dan juga upper ore. Sama juga dengan kaedah open cast di sini. Okay, yang saya nyatakan tadi, you boleh gunakan equipment yang besar-besar untuk dalam case di sini yang melibatkan kawasan yang cukup luas, dan anda boleh menggunakan equipment yang quite big. Tetapi macam contoh di Malaysia yang menggunakan bauxite dan sebagainya, is a fairly small type of excavators that kita guna untuk mengangkut bauxite ataupun iron ore yang kita pelombong. Okay, ini lebih jelas untuk dapat you lihat bagaimana pergerakan ke sebelah kiri. Okay, ke sebelah kiri. Okay, dia bergerak ke sebelah sini ya, ke sebelah sini, dan seterusnya dia dumping akan pergi ke sebelah kanan untuk you remove. So dia akan melihat, dia akan ada juga disturbance to the surface, but dia tidak meninggalkan lubang yang lebih besar berbanding dengan open pit. Kadang-kadang dia juga melibatkan sedikit untuk you letak di sebahagian sini yang menyebabkan disturbance to the surface. Okay, sama juga dengan kaedah di sini. Kalau you lihat dengan cukup baik di sini, dia ada drilling yang akan berlaku di sini, dia akan blast di sini. So sama juga, dan di sini akan mengeluarkan overburden tersebut, dan di bawah sini adalah untuk mengeluarkan coal yang dinyatakan. Okay, so it's very good figure for you to really visualize how this thing being done accordingly. Ini salah satu juga lagi contoh yang mana yang warna hitam tersebut adalah coal seam. Okay, dia quite thick layer, so you dapat dah expose, dan bahagian atas, di sebahagian atas ini adalah overburden yang start being removed untuk expose all the coal seam here. Okay, so overburden dia tak tinggi ya, so nampak so figure ni you boleh jelaskan dengan lebih jelas tentang apa condition yang saya nyatakan tadi, yang mana yang dia kena flat bedded. Okay, dan you remove bahagian atas tersebut, yang bahagian hijau tersebut, dan you expose the two layers that accordingly for this particular coal. So cycle of operation, okay, strip overburden. So first kali you kena strip your overburden. Ini sama juga macam tadi saya kata sequence so cycle dia lebih kurang sama. Okay, so you ada strip overburden. Nota yang saya tulis di sini agak detail, so you boleh guna untuk baca so tak ada isu dari segi itu. Saya cuma discuss apa yang dinyatakan di dalam slide ini, so then you can understand what I mean by open cast and also cycle of operation for this particular slide. So the material handling equipment is then selected to satisfy the operation condition, and the stripping cycle of the operations and equipment commonly utilized. You guna drilling, you blast, you excavate, and you haulage them accordingly. So okay, you selepas you strip the overburden, your materials handling come in, and then you do your drilling, blasting, excavation, and so on. Remember that step, you break the production cycle. Remember? Okay, so you guna yang itu juga untuk menerangkan. Okay, mining coal or ore. So the mining cycle of operation and equipment usually consists of the following. So you clean the equipment accordingly, and then you drill, blast, and for excavation and haulage. So this is detailed from the previous slide I mentioned earlier. I did highlight this auxiliary operation. That means the most auxiliary operation is reclamation. Slope stability you kena jaga sebab dia melibatkan some loose material as well. So haulage road has to be well maintained, equipment maintenance, pit drainage dan sebagainya. Okay, condition, so you kena tahu jenis-jenis ore strength. You boleh jadi hard sebab you still can do your blasting and also excavation accordingly. Rock strength also any. It have to be this is clear. It have to be tabular embedded. Okay, sebenarnya untuk semua kaedah yang bakal kita discuss, okay, termasuklah kaedah-kaedah open pit, open cast, dredging, quarrying dan sebagainya. You boleh guna kaedah-kaedah ini ataupun condition bagi setiap jenis ore. You table out what are the similarities, what are the difference that can utilize for any methods that you want to use. Okay, kadang-kadang setiap ore tersebut condition dia sama dan you boleh guna kaedah yang pelbagai. Jadi kena tengok kesesuaian. So jadi tapi di sini dinyatakan jenis-jenis ore ataupun jenis-jenis ataupun condition, what are the real things for this particular types of ore body to be used what method. Itu you kena jelas So you boleh tengok sendiri condition yang terlibat untuk open cast di sini. So the last two slide you boleh baca sendiri what are the advantage of open cast. Most of it they have high productivity. Okay. Tapi you kena ingat satu perkara walaupun dia high productivity, you kena ingat kaedah-kaedah yang you akan pilih, okay, walaupun you kata okay, mungkin kena pilih open cast lah sebab dia high productivity, tapi you punya ore deposit jenis dia tidak sesuai untuk you guna open cast. Dia kena guna open pit sebab kedalaman dia tidak membolehkan you menggunakan open cast. Remember that, okay? So that have to be considered. Okay, of course it mentioned here lower cost, high production rate because of high productivity dan sebagainya. So those are the advantage of if you can apply this method, this will be the advantage that you can discuss about. Okay, and you can use large equipment. You don't have to have that much breaking of rocks if the deposit is a loose type. Okay, like clay dan sebagainya, tak payah pun you korek dan you dah boleh dapat. Like iron ore, bauxite, sama. Okay, the disadvantage is because kedalaman yang you boleh guna untuk kaedah ini agak limited. Okay, dia tak boleh terlampau dalam. Bila dah terlampau dalam, definitely you have to shift to you punya open pit. Okay, kalau dia tidak dalam dan sim berada pada kedalaman yang boleh reasonable, then you can use this open cast yang you boleh guna dan sebagainya. Alright, so the disadvantage is already been discussed, the advantage is already been discussed. So I'm ending up my presentation for open cast or strip mining. So just to recap balik sebagai kesimpulannya ataupun the summary about it, you kena faham apa kesesuaian ataupun open cast method ataupun strip mining yang you perlu gunakan dan apa yang kaedah ini, principle dia ataupun how it works, yang mana dia bergerak dan bergerak untuk tanpa meninggalkan lubang yang jelas berbanding dengan open pit dan sebagainya. That must be known. Alright, so I'm going to end here. So hopefully that you can discuss further on this open cast mining in discussion with me in the next class. Alright, thank you very much and take care.